Our planet is now home to over 7 billion people, and 60% of them live in Asia. This continent is the cradle of the world's first urban literate civilization, Mesopotamia, where the Sumerians established the foundation for future societies. Asia is also where all the major world religions originated: Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, and Judaism, along with many lesser-known ones. Because of this, its impact on world history is truly immense and cannot be overlooked. As a continent with one of the longest histories on the planet, it's no surprise that it produced some of the greatest archaeological discoveries that stunned the scientific community. Let's now dive into some of the most groundbreaking discoveries in Asia. The South China Sea, a region of immense economic and strategic importance, is a potential flashpoint for the next world wars. Covering an expansive area of 3,685,000 square kilometers, this crucial body of water has not only become a battleground for territorial claims, but also a rich source of some of the most significant maritime discoveries in history. Beneath its seabed lie massive reserves of oil and natural gas worth trillions of dollars. Its waters teem with vast marine life, crucial for the food security of millions in Southeast Asia. On its surface, 1/3 of the world's maritime shipping industry passes through, carrying over $3 trillion in trade annually. This combination of resources and strategic value underscores why the South China Sea is so vital and heavily contested by multiple nations. Since 2013, China has been asserting its claim over nearly 90% of the South China Sea. China bases this claim on historic rights, with Chinese analysts and academics arguing that the Han Dynasty first discovered the islands in the region over 2 millennia ago. According to their narrative, China was the first to discover these islands, establish governance, and settle its people there. They claim the Chinese were the pioneers of economic activity in the region. This historical account forms the foundation of the infamous Nine-Dash Line, which encroaches upon the exclusive economic zones of several other nations, including Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. In August 2023, China stunned the world by unveiling an updated map featuring a new 10-dash line. This revision officially includes the island of Taiwan within its core territory, reinforcing China's sweeping territorial claims in Southeast Asia and intensifying regional tensions. This overlapping claim has resulted in significant tension between China and these neighboring nations. If we base it on the prevailing international law, countries can only claim and utilize territory within 200 nautical miles of their shores, known as their exclusive economic zones. This regulation is derived from the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which sets the maximum extent of territorial waters countries can claim, along with various other limitations and regulations. What's more surprising is that China itself is a signatory to UNCLOS, so technically it cannot claim these territories, having agreed to these standards. Despite this, China continues to assert its claims, which directly conflict with the economic zones of Taiwan and other Southeast Asian nations, fueling regional tensions. However, this isn't just a showdown between a titan and some smaller nations. It's turned into a proxy conflict involving another superpower, the United States. As a close ally of the Philippines, the U.S. has promised to protect this nation against any threats to its sovereignty. The geopolitics in the region has become a high-stakes game of chess, with each country carefully calculating their next moves. One wrong move could spell disaster, not just for the countries involved, but for the entire world. But beneath the complex geopolitics of the South China Sea, scientists have plunged into its depths, uncovering extraordinary discoveries that illuminate human history. The ocean's depths not only conceal trillions of dollars worth of resources, but also hold invaluable knowledge about the mysteries lurking in the deepest parts of our planet. So, let's dive into these fascinating finds, shall we? World War II Submarine. 3,000 feet below the South China Sea, the wreckage of the U.S. Navy's submarine Harder, renowned for sinking the most Japanese warships during World War II, has been discovered. It was nearly 80 years since her final patrol. This submarine has been celebrated for its significant role in the U.S. victory during the war. It sank the most Japanese warships, disrupting Japan's plans and delaying their carrier force, thus contributing to their eventual defeat. The Philippines, a U.S. territory at the time, was attacked by Japan shortly after the strike on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. By the spring of 1942, U.S. and Philippine forces in Luzon had surrendered to Japanese forces, who then used the archipelago to protect their supply lines from the East Indies and Southeast Asia. However, by mid-1944, the U.S. was reversing Japanese advances across the Pacific and planning landings to reclaim the Philippines. During this period, one submarine, the USS Harder, made a significant impact on this campaign. She's a Gado-class sub named after a type of fish, the Harder mullet. She earned the nickname Hit 'em Harder, a fitting tribute to her extraordinary achievements. In a stunning display of naval prowess, she sank 3 Japanese destroyers and likely destroyed or severely damaged 2 more, all within the span of just 4 days. Tragically, Harder vanished in the South China Sea off Luzon during her 6th war patrol on August 24, 1944, along with her crew of 79 submariners. On the morning of this fateful day, Harder engaged in battle with the Japanese escort ship CD-22, launching 3 torpedoes at the vessel. However, the Japanese ship evaded the torpedoes and launched a series of depth charge attacks on Harder. The 5th depth charge struck Harder, sinking her and her crew. On 2nd of January 1945, the Navy solemnly declared the USS Harder presumed lost, and by January 20th, her name was removed from the Navy Register. Despite her tragic end, the Harder's legacy lived on through her remarkable contributions to the war effort. In recognition of her bravery and service, she was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation for her first 5 patrols and received 6 battle stars for her outstanding service during World War II. This find of the celebrated World War II submarine is a historic achievement in nautical archaeology. The wreck is the final resting place of sailors who bravely gave their lives defending their country. Deepest blue hole. Blue holes are among the most mysterious features of our oceans, and one of the deepest lies near the Paracel Islands in the South China Sea. Known as Dragon Hole, or Longdong, it plunges to an astonishing depth of 300 meters, far surpassing the previous record holder, Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas. It's nearly as tall as the Eiffel Tower. This nearly vertical blue hole spans 130 meters in diameter at its surface entrance, narrowing to 36 meters at its bottom. Down there, at the very depths, there's no water flow or exchange with the rest of the ocean, creating an isolated, mysterious world of its own. Its mystique is so profound that local fishermen have dubbed it the Eye of the South China Sea. They believe it to be the very spot where the Monkey King, from the Chinese folktale Journey to the West, discovered his legendary gold-banded cudgel. Blue holes are fascinating and intricate ecosystems, offering a unique habitat for a diverse array of marine life. Within these submerged caverns, you'll find everything from vibrant corals and sponges to mollusks, sea turtles, and even sharks. These ecosystems flourish in the distinctive light and nutrient conditions that blue holes provide. Despite their ecological importance, exploring blue holes is far from a casual dive. It's a perilous journey. Hence, much of their biodiversity and ecological dynamics remain a mystery. The limited oxygen and sulfuric waters that often lurk below make diving in these depths extremely dangerous. In the lower parts of a deep blue hole like Dragon Hole, the water is stagnant and anoxic, with almost no circulation, making it inhospitable to most sea life. Yet, these extraordinary underwater formations offer an opportunity to uncover the secrets of the deeper parts of our planet. Artificial island sinking. Knowing they couldn't claim a territory without infrastructure or inhabitants, China initiated a bold strategy, constructing man-made islands in the South China Sea. Their aim was for these artificial outposts to be recognized as Chinese territory. However, it appears that nature itself is now pushing back against their efforts. China's island outposts in these contested waters might have a critical vulnerability. Since 2013, the Chinese government has dredged and largely destroyed delicate reefs in disputed waters to create 7 major military bases, complete with ports, airstrips, radar, and missile installations. These islands function like unsinkable aircraft carriers, solidifying Beijing's claims over these disputed waters. But recent rumors suggest that competing countries might not need to take action against these installations. The islands seem to be sinking on their own, with reports of foundations cracking and turning to sponge. If these rumors prove true, China may be forced to abandon the islands for good. Beyond their fragile foundations, China's artificial islands face an even mightier adversary: nature itself. A powerful typhoon could wreak far more havoc on these constructions than their already deteriorating concrete. As global temperatures climb, the warming ocean waters are expected to spawn more frequent super typhoons in the South China Sea. Yet, China appears unprepared for this looming threat. A single, well-placed super typhoon could dismantle years of Beijing's efforts in its ambitious island-building campaign. The warming climate brings even more challenges for China's artificial islands. Built without seawalls or protective infrastructure, these structures are defenseless against rising waters. As glaciers in the Arctic and Antarctic continue to melt, sea levels rise, further threatening the longevity of these man-made fortifications. Adding to their woes, these islands also lack defenses against erosion and surging tides. Designed to be a permanent string of fortifications in the South China Sea, they were not built to endure the very elements they now face. The situation is worsened by China's destruction of vast coral reefs and mangroves during construction. These natural barriers once shielded against the sea's relentless forces, but their removal has left the islands even more exposed to nature's wrath. In an ironic twist that some might call poetic justice, China destroyed the very natural defenses that could have ensured their islands' resilience against the challenges of a warming climate. Unique vampire squid. In the depths of the South China Sea, scientists in China have uncovered what may be a newfound species of vampire squid, making it only the second known species of its kind in the world. Vampire squid grow to about a foot in length. While their name might evoke fear, these sea creatures are harmless scavengers of the deep sea. Rather than posing a threat to larger marine life, they feed mainly on feces and dead animals, playing a vital role in the ocean's ecosystem. The vampire squid has been discovered in temperate and tropical ocean environments across various parts of the globe. Until now, the only officially recognized species was described in 1903, following a deep-sea expedition led by the German marine biologist Carl Chun. The second species discovered near Hainan Islands in the northwestern South China Sea was named Vampiroteuthis pseudo-infernalis, and found at depths of 2,600 to 3,300 feet in the so-called twilight zone, where only a sliver of light from the surface penetrates. They thrive in the deep sea's oxygen minimum zone, where few organisms can survive. They primarily feed on marine snow, relying on their unique adaptability to endure extremely low oxygen levels with ease. These fascinating creatures are bioluminescent as well, capable of producing their own light to attract small, edible particles, making them well suited for life in the dark depths of the ocean. These bioluminescent properties not only help them communicate, but also confuse predators. Vampire squids are truly unique creatures, neither true squids nor octopuses, yet remarkably adapted to the harsh deep-sea environment. Researchers believe the South China Sea offers the ideal conditions for these fascinating creatures, enabling them to thrive in extremely low oxygen levels. Historically, the South China Sea has played a vital role in global marine biodiversity, providing a hospitable environment for organisms like vampire squids to flourish. Floating military base. The BRP Sierra Madre, a World War II-era ship, stands as perhaps the most unlikely military base in the hotly contested waters of the South China Sea. For over 2 decades, this deliberately grounded vessel has remained in the shallow waters, proudly bearing the Philippine flag and serving as a symbol against Chinese expansionism. Since 1999, the Sierra Madre has been stranded on Second Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Islands. The Philippines, however, has turned it into a naval outpost, a steadfast symbol of their sovereignty, manned by a small group of troops. Regular resupply missions deliver food, water, and fuel to the Marines stationed there. Yet concerns are growing among experts about how much longer the vessel can withstand the elements, as its sides are ravaged by rust and its hull is punctured with holes. This tiny submerged vessel has become the most dangerous flashpoint in the Indo-Pacific, edging the region closer to the brink of armed conflict. China's Coast Guard has ramped up its aggressive tactics, using water cannons, ramming boats, and even brandishing weapons to prevent Manila from resupplying the Marines stationed on the ship. Analysts believe Beijing is playing a waiting game, anticipating the day when the ship disintegrates, leaving the shoal unoccupied and ripe for the taking. It appears that the Philippines has outmaneuvered its rival. According to reports, they have secretly reinforced the dilapidated warship, extending its lifespan and ensuring its continued presence in these contested waters. This tiny wreckage stands as a reflection of Filipino character. Despite all the adversaries hurled against them, they would be resilient enough to survive. India, a nation on the brink of becoming a superpower, having overtaken China to become the world's most populous country. Its role in human progress cannot be underestimated. With a civilization among the oldest known to humanity, India has played a pivotal role on the world stage for thousands of years. When we talk about India, the iconic Taj Mahal or Bollywood movies often spring to mind. Yet beyond these world-renowned symbols lies a land of striking contrasts. On one hand, you'll be enchanted by the magnificence of ancient temples and the breathtaking natural landscapes that span the subcontinent. The nation's flora and fauna are equally remarkable, with species found nowhere else on Earth. On the other hand, you might encounter sad realities: open sewage, people defecating in the open, and mounds of trash accumulating in some areas. There are few countries that display such a stark divide between rich and poor, where hunger and luxury coexist side by side. But make no mistake, India is poised to become a 21st century economic powerhouse. In 2023, the nation surged ahead of China, presenting a compelling alternative for investors and consumer brands seeking growth, as well as manufacturers aiming to reduce risks in their supply chains. The question now is, can India reclaim its position as one of the wealthiest nations, as it was in centuries past? Back in the 1700s, India held an astonishing 27% share of the global economy, more than all of Europe combined. During this golden era, the nation was renowned for its industrial and manufacturing prowess, outshining any in Europe or Asia. The land was adorned with magnificent architecture and populated by great merchants, businessmen, bankers, and financiers. India was not only a leading shipbuilding nation, but its commerce and trade reached every corner of the civilized world. All of that changed when the British colonized India. The India that once inspired the world had been systematically unmade. The golden days were over. The nation was drained of its wealth and stifled by a sordid system of misrule. But who knows? We might be living in a generation that will witness this country reclaim its former glory. However, beyond its financial wealth, the true treasure of this nation lies in its unique and rich history. This ancient land has been the site of some of the most astounding archaeological discoveries ever made. Finds that have shaken the very foundations of the scientific community. So, let's pull back the curtain and unravel these mysterious discoveries that baffled scientists worldwide. Land of Warriors. In 2005, a humble farmer from the village of Sinauli in Uttar Pradesh's Bagpat district was going about his daily routine, plowing his field. Little did he know, he was on the brink of a remarkable discovery. As his plow struck something unusual, he unearthed an ancient treasure trove, revealing copper pots and long-buried skeletons. Carbon dating revealed that the 116 burial sites found in the area were around 4,000 years old. When the excavation project resumed in 2018, the archaeologists made even more startling discoveries: copper shields and 3 ancient chariots. These findings challenged long-held beliefs and compelled experts to re-examine widely accepted historical narratives. Western scholars had always said that chariots and weapons came to India with the Aryan invasion, changing society and leading to the creation of the Vedas. But the finds at Sinauli told a completely different story, making everyone rethink what they thought they knew. These discoveries revealed the warrior nature of the Sinauli tribe. Among the unearthed treasures were weapons with ornate hilts and even a copper helmet. These excavations now stand as the earliest record of a warrior tribe in the subcontinent. The findings make it clear that these people were not migrants, but indigenous warriors with a culture uniquely their own, distinct from the Harappan civilization. The discovery of the chariot dating back to the 2nd millennium BC was like seeing a myth come to life. These vehicles were discovered buried alongside fallen warriors. Until this find, chariots in India were known only from ancient texts. Even more fascinating was that the type of wood used to craft these chariots matched the descriptions found in the Vedas. All 3 chariots are 2-wheeled and lightweight, with a D-shaped chassis beautifully adorned with copper decorations. Built for a single rider, these chariots showcase extraordinary craftsmanship. While more research is necessary, many experts are now considering the possibility that the chariot may have been invented in India itself. Temple built by giants. Did giants roam ancient India? The locals of Lepakshi in Andhra Pradesh certainly think so. As a matter of fact, they strongly believe that their temple, known as Virabhadra Temple, was built by giants. This temple is a stunning example of ancient Indian architecture. Carved from rock, this stone marvel tells the story of the great Vijayanagara Empire. Dedicated to Lord Virabhadra, it showcases timeless art, featuring beautiful frescoes and murals. However, beyond its stunning beauty lies an origin steeped in mystery and intrigue. While archaeologists assert that the temple was built a mere 500 years ago, the locals hold a different story close to their hearts. They believe that the temple was constructed in a much earlier era by gods of immense stature, giants who once walked the earth. The most striking evidence the locals present is a massive footprint found within the temple, believed to belong to a giant towering between 25 to 35 feet. Yet, the tale doesn't end there. Just 500 meters from the Lepakshi temple stands another testament to their claims, a colossal bull sculpture. This isn't merely any bull, it's the largest carving of the Indian bull, or Nandi, in the world. Carved from a single rock, this awe-inspiring bull stands nearly 15 feet tall and stretches 27 feet long. The most intriguing part of this Nandi is that it stands alone. According to sacred Indian architecture, every bull must be paired with a lingam, and ancient texts confirm that the bull should be carved in front of a lingam. So why would the ancient builders create the world's largest bull and forget the lingam, the main deity? The answer to this mystery lies within the temple walls, where a gigantic lingam stands. This towering lingam, nearly 12 feet tall, is guarded by a 7-headed naga. These structures don't support the theory just because of their gigantic size, but rather on how these are being worshipped in the old days, as described by ancient Vedic texts. In a long-forgotten ritual of worshipping the lingam, devotees would place 2 fingers on the horns of Nandi and gaze through this frame to view the sacred lingam. Hindus faithfully practiced this tradition for centuries, up until recent times. This was the true purpose of the bull. Now, if you climb onto the colossal bull and peer through its 2 horns, you'll see the enormous lingam perfectly framed. This alignment not only confirms the bull's connection to the lingam, but suggests something even more astonishing. The race that crafted these magnificent carvings must have been tall enough to view the lingam through the horns. Given that the bull stands at 15 feet high, these ancient builders must have been towering around 30 feet tall. Proponents of this theory argue that the lingam and the bull were created by a race of giants, while the newer temple was built within the last 500 years. They point to the difference in architectural styles as evidence. The original builders employed a monolithic architecture, crafting both the lingam and the bull from single rocks, making them not only much larger than everything else, but also unique in their construction. In contrast, the newer temple architecture is quite different, suggesting a more recent origin. Unhygienic street food. Are you one of those who binged-watch those unhygienic, almost disgusting ways of preparing street foods in India? These clips have captivated audiences to such an extent that they've painted the entire country's street food scene with a brush of infamy, making dirty street food almost synonymous with India in the eyes of many. street vendors frequently serve food using their bare hands, without gloves, water for washing, or aprons for protection. They usually add flair with tricks and flashy moves, making the experience more fun for customers, but often at the expense of cleanliness. You'll also notice flies and pests hanging around the food stalls, which adds to the contamination risk. While this may seem unacceptable to many, locals believe that their resilience has been bolstered by their street food experiences. It's affordable, quicker than fast food, and readily available, making it a vital part of their daily lives. This thriving industry provides a decent livelihood for many, with some food vendors earning as much as entry-level software engineers in the country. As you wander through the lively streets of India, you're met with a vibrant array of street foods, each a testament to the country's rich culinary heritage. Would you be willing to try it out when you're in India? World's biggest snake. For a long time, we thought Titanoboa was the biggest snake ever. But everything changed when scientists from the Indian Institute of Technology made an incredible find in Kutch, Gujarat. They discovered 27 pieces of a backbone at the Pandro coal mine, and it turned out to be from an even bigger snake. In homage to the mythical snake associated with Lord Shiva, they named this colossal reptile Vasuki indicus. For years it was thought that the fossils were from a massive crocodile. However, it has turned out to be one of the largest snakes that ever existed on Earth, believed to be longer than the T-Rex, the famous dinosaur. Experts estimate that this snake could have been anywhere between 11 to 15 meters long. This massive serpent likely lived around 47 million years ago during the Middle Eocene period, when the Earth was vastly different from what we know today. Back then, Africa, India, and South America were all part of a single supercontinent called Gondwanaland. However, the scientists didn't find its skull, so it's a bit unclear what its head looked like. Scientists believe that the snake would have resembled a large python, like the ones we see today, and would not have been venomous. Like modern pythons and anacondas, Vasuki indicus likely killed its prey by wrapping its body around them and suffocating them. While scientists aren't sure what Vasuki ate, given its massive size, it's likely it fed on crocodiles. Researchers say Vasuki was part of the Maddasoidae snake family, which showed up around 90 million years ago. This snake family was pretty dominant during the last days of the dinosaurs, but went extinct about 12 million years ago. Perhaps we should be relieved that it vanished completely. Aryan migration invasion theory, debunked. You've probably heard of the Mesopotamian or Egyptian civilizations, right? But chances are you're not as familiar with the Indus Valley or Harappan civilization. It's understandable. Despite being one of the earliest and most advanced urban civilizations in the world, it never quite reached the same level of fame as its ancient counterparts in the East. This ancient civilization spanned parts of present-day Iran, Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan, and flourished approximately around 9,000 years ago. It accomplished numerous milestones that put it ahead of its time, such as creating intricate water supply systems, constructing two-story houses, and designing complex pools. It did all of this long before any other nation had developed the technology to do so. But around 1300 BC, this civilization suddenly disappeared. This unexpected disappearance left scientists scratching their heads and coming up with different theories to explain what happened. One of the more well-known theories was put forward by Sir Mortimer Wheeler, known as the Aryan migration invasion theory. According to this theory, the once great Harappan civilization met its abrupt end when foreigners from the north migrated to India and settled in the Indus Valley and Ganges Plain between 1800 and 1500 BC. These newcomers, who spoke Indo-European languages, were called Aryans, meaning noble people in Sanskrit. It's believed that these Aryans invaded and massacred the people of this civilization, leading to its eventual downfall. This theory gained traction due to the discovery of human skeletons found in the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro when excavations began in the 1920s. These remains were found in strange positions, leading some experts to believe that they were victims of an unconventional burial ritual or were attempting to flee from something or someone. But there was a flaw with this theory. There were no signs of burned fortresses or remains of weapons and armor in the site. However, Recent DNA analysis of skeletons found in Rakhigarhi village, Haryana, has debunked this theory once and for all. The skeletal remains discovered in the upper part of the citadel area of Mohenjo-daro belonged to individuals who perished due to floods, not an Aryan invasion. The revelation didn't stop here. It also proved that farming was indigenous to India, contradicting the earlier belief that it was introduced through migrations from Iran. Most haunted place. If you're a fan of good old-fashioned ghost stories, then surely a visit to Rajasthan's Pangar Fort would be a treat for you. As a matter of fact, it's considered as one of the most haunted places in India. The fort is located in the Alwar district of Rajasthan. Built in the 17th century by Raja Bhagwant Das, the ruler of Amber, for his younger son Madho Singh, it was once a thriving city. Until 1720, Bhangar boasted over 9,000 houses alongside the royal palace. Now the fort lies in ruins, with vines and foliage creeping over its walls. Known for its stunning architecture and beautiful surroundings, the fort also has a darker side, with legends and myths claiming it's a cursed place. According to a popular local lore, a beautiful princess named Ratnavati attracted many royal suitors. A wizard, skilled in black magic, fell in love with her and tried to trap her with a love potion disguised as a scent. The princess saw through the trick and threw the potion onto a nearby boulder, which then rolled towards the wizard and crushed him to death. With his dying breath, the wizard cursed the city, predicting its doom. Not long after, Mughal forces invaded, killing everyone in the fort, including Princess Ratnavati. Because of these eerie legends, the fort is off-limits to visitors before sunrise and after sunset. It's said that anyone brave enough to stay in the fort at night would face terrible misfortune. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer in the supernatural, Pangar Fort is a must-visit when you're in India. Its stunning architecture and rich history make it an unforgettable experience. Wealthiest religious shrine. In the heart of Kerala, India, lies the wealthiest religious institution in the world. Yes, richer than the Vatican, the Sri Padmanabhaswamy Temple. The temple's treasures are estimated to be worth around $40 billion, and that's just their material value. Many of these items are ancient antiques with priceless historical significance. This ancient temple houses 6 vaults, but one chamber remains locked and heavily guarded until today. Why? Built in the 8th century AD by King Anujam Thirunal Marthanda Varma of Travancore, this temple is one of the oldest and most important in Hinduism. Over the years, the Travancore royal family and other monarchs have continually improved and expanded this sacred place. But it had been a subject of national controversy. It all started when an individual working at the temple became alarmed by the mishandling of the temple's finances and decided to bring this issue before the court. As a response, the court ordered an inventory of the temple assets. When officials started the challenging task of unsealing 6 mysterious vaults that had been locked beneath the temple for centuries, they were blown away by what they discovered. The first 5 vaults revealed treasures beyond belief: sparkling diamonds, luxurious golden thrones, and a massive 1,100-pound gold chain. When auditors got to the 6th vault, known as Vault B, they were met with an eerie sight. Massive doors adorned with images of cobras. It was like a warning sign, similar to a skull and crossbones. The cobras were depicted as huge, fierce creatures capable of deadly harm. Because of this, Vault B was deemed off-limits. Temple priests strongly believed that dire consequences would befall anyone who dares to open it. According to legends, the chamber is rumored to be cursed. Venturing beyond this point is impeded by the presence of cobras, known as Nagas, the mythical serpents in Hinduism. It is said that the door was sealed using a Nagapasam mantra, a spell-like incantation that effectively locked it through the power of the Nagas. Additionally, it can only be unlocked by a highly skilled and knowledgeable sadhu who possesses an intimate understanding of the Garuda mantra. It's a powerful Hindu mantra dedicated to Lord Garuda, half-man, half-bird with wings creature. It's warned that trying to forcefully open it without using this sacred mantra or by using man-made technology could lead to disasters in and around the temple, across India, and even around the world. This warning finds support in past unsuccessful attempts such as the incident in 1931, when a group of individuals, attempting to unlock the vaults, were compelled to flee due to the sudden presence of cobras. Hence, even to this day, the secrets of Vault B remain untouched and undiscovered. Ancient aerospace technology. What if thousands of years ago, long before we even conceived the idea of flight, aircraft were already soaring in the skies of India? This notion might not be as far-fetched as it initially seems. According to ancient Vedic texts, gods descended from the sky in flying vehicles called vimanas. These thousand-year-old texts offer detailed descriptions of these vimanas, including their appearance, how they traveled, and what was required to pilot them. These extraordinary flying machines were said to be used in warfare, capable of flying within Earth's atmosphere, traveling into space, and even navigating underwater. For some experts, these vimanas were real, tangible aircraft, believed to have been used by ancient astronauts. According to them, we don't need to look far for evidence. The shape of the stupas scattered throughout the country is proof enough. Where did this unique design originate? Experts suggest that these structures were modeled after vimanas. Just as we draw inspiration from our surroundings for our designs, the ancient builders of stupas did the same. They crafted stone structures to mimic what they saw in the sky. Many Hindu temples feature architectural elements that echo this celestial inspiration, with their upper sections often resembling flying objects, or vimanas. This poses an intriguing question. Are we rediscovering sophisticated technologies that existed millennia ago? Japan is a land of extremes. Nestled on the volatile Pacific Ring of Fire, it has endured some of the most violent natural disasters the world has ever witnessed. The archipelago still shows the scars of its tumultuous birth, a volcanic land emerging from the ocean depths. On the other hand, Japan's geographic location has also gifted it with unparalleled natural beauty. With over 14,000 islands, the Japanese archipelago is a haven of natural wonders, featuring pristine beaches, majestic mountains, and breathtaking landscapes. This stunning scenery has not only made Japan a dream destination for travelers from around the globe, but also inspired countless masterpieces and the keeper of many intriguing mysteries. But the reasons to visit this country extend far beyond its natural wonders. The country is also famous for its fascination with quirky and unusual things you won't find anywhere else on the planet. In the bustling streets of Tokyo, you can stumble upon whimsical themed cafes where you dine with owls. Or perhaps you'd like to pay a visit to a cute poop museum. Japan's eccentricities don't stop there. Vending machines dispense everything from used panties to canned bread, and you'll find cartoon versions of everything imaginable. It's no wonder that it earned the moniker as the Disney-like Fantasyland. However, don't let Japan's quirky charms fool you into not taking it seriously. As one of the oldest and most vibrant cultures on Earth, Japan has made groundbreaking discoveries that have reshaped our understanding of history and harbors mysteries that continue to baffle scientists to this day. Let's now start unraveling these discoveries, shall we? Haunted Japanese doll. We'll go back in time to 1918 in northern Japan. A young man named Aikichi Suzuki came across a small 16-inch doll dressed in a kimono. Instantly captivated, he purchased the doll and presented it to his 2-year-old sister, Kikuko. She cherished the doll deeply, even naming it after herself, calling it Okiku. A year later, Japan was struck by a devastating yellow fever epidemic, claiming many lives, including Kikuko's. Heartbroken, the family buried her and placed the beloved doll in their family's shrine, a traditional practice to honor the deceased. Regularly paying their respects, they noticed something uncanny one day. Okiku's hair, originally a neat shoulder-length bob, had grown into a shaggy mass reaching down to its knees. Perplexed and unable to explain the phenomenon, the family cut the doll's hair and returned it to the shrine. Yet, the hair grew back again and again, necessitating repeated, eerie trims. The family began to believe that Kikuko's spirit had taken residence in the doll. In 1938, facing a move to another district, they decided not to take Okiku with them, fearing the doll's mysterious hair-growing ability was tied to its proximity to Kikuko's grave. They entrusted the doll to the Menenji Temple in Hokkaido, where it remains to this day. Monks at the temple claim Okiku's hair continues to grow, and they still trim it regularly. And if Okiku's story isn't creepy enough, some visitors swear they have seen her mouth gradually opening, revealing what appears to be human teeth. It's worth noting that during the early 20th century, many parts of Japan were rural and steeped in folklore. Stories of spirits and supernatural occurrences were common, and dolls were often seen as vessels of magic. Although Okiku's growing hair might be dismissed as mere folklore, scientific analysis has uncovered that the hair is indeed real human hair. Today, Okiku is housed in a private shrine at the Manenji Temple, with all photography of the doll strictly prohibited. This restriction means scientists may never fully unravel the mystery of Okiku's hair. But one thing's clear: in Japan, you don't want to mess with their dolls. Prehistoric Sea Monster. In the depths of the Aridagawa River in Wakayama Prefecture on Honshu Island, Japanese scientists made an astonishing discovery. They unearthed the near-complete skeleton of a colossal sea monster, rivaling the size of a great white shark. This fearsome beast, which terrorized the ancient oceans, is unlike any aquatic creature we've ever seen, living or extinct. These fossils are from a newly discovered species of mosasaur, an air-breathing marine reptile that ruled the oceans as a top predator around 72 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. This species has been officially named Megapterygius wakayamensis and has been affectionately nicknamed the Wakayama Soryu, drawing inspiration from the blue aquatic dragons of Japanese mythology. This fearsome sea predator exhibited a fascinating blend of features: a dolphin-like body, 4 paddle-like flippers, an alligator-shaped snout, and a long, powerful tail. Unlike any other mosasaur, it also had a dorsal fin reminiscent of those found on sharks and dolphins. What really puzzled researchers, though, was that its rear flippers were longer than the front ones. This is not only a first for mosasaurs, but also extremely rare among all known aquatic species, whether living or extinct. For the last 20 million years of their reign, these mosasaurs were the ocean's equivalent of Tyrannosaurus rex, dominating the marine food chain with ruthless efficiency. Any prey unfortunate enough to cross their path would be swiftly devoured by their powerful jaws, lined with dozens of razor-sharp teeth. If they existed today, they would undoubtedly be the stuff of nightmares. Mysterious ancient weapon. In 2019, the world watched as Emperor Naruhito ascended to Japan's chrysanthemum throne, marking a historic moment. Central to this grand ceremony were the sacred imperial regalia, including the legendary Kusanagi no Tsurugi. This sword is one of the most mysterious in the world, with no one having been able to lay his eyes upon it since the 12th century. Even during imperial ceremonies, this revered artifact remains cloaked in carefully wrapped packages. Its elusive nature has fueled speculation over the years, leading to theories that it might have been lost, stolen, or replaced with a replica. As one of Japan's esteemed trio of imperial treasures, alongside the mirror Yata no Kagami and the jewel Yasakani no Magatama, it not only signifies the legitimacy of Japan's imperial line, but also holds a profound place in Japanese mythology. The Japanese imperial family, once believed to be direct descendants of the gods, are the guardians of this legendary sword. Though its true origins remain veiled in mystery, historians generally agree that the sword has been passed down through generations of the imperial family, playing a crucial role in the enthronement of emperors and other sacred ceremonies. According to legend, the sword was given to Yamato Takeru, a renowned warrior prince and son of Japan's 12th emperor, who lived during the 1st and 2nd centuries. Renowned for his strategic prowess, he once famously disguised himself as a maidservant to surprise his enemies during a festive gathering, showcasing his cunning abilities. We learn about his adventures from ancient texts like the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, dating back to 711 AD. He was a trusted ally of his father and was ordered to pacify rebellious tribes in the east. During a visit to the Ise shrine to honor the sun goddess Amaterasu, he crossed paths with his aunt, the high priestess Yamatohime, who entrusted him with the Kusanagi no Tsurugi. The sword proved to be an indispensable asset during his conquests, its legendary power tested in a dramatic moment. Surrounded by enemies in a field engulfed in flames, he wielded the Kusanagi no Tsurugi with skill and determination. Miraculously, he carved a path through the blazing grass, saving his life and turning the tide of battle in his favor. This bold feat etched its place in history, forever branding the sword with its evocative nickname, the grass-cutting sword. In modern Japan, the sword is revered as a mystical relic, much like Britain's crown jewels. While its origins remain mysterious, many speculate that the Kusanagi no Tsurugi is still hidden somewhere in the country. Some even suggest that Japan's government may be safeguarding it, possibly viewing it as a covert strategic asset, a secret weapon kept away from public eyes. Deformed skulls. The Hirota people, who occupied a Japanese island for around 400 years, deliberately flattened the back of their children's heads. This unique practice of cranial deformation has experts baffled as to its purpose. Infant skulls were bound or pressed flat, a practice applied to all children regardless of social rank or gender. By today's standards, this custom would be considered quite shocking. In the 1950s and early 2000s, a large gravesite revealed the skulls of the Hirota people. Unearthed alongside them were hundreds of skeletons adorned with glass beads, pendants, bracelets, and shell beads, indicating that the Hirota were of high status and engaged in extensive trade with other cultures. Researchers studying these skulls remain unsure of the rationale behind this practice of cranial deformation. One theory is that it helped preserve group identity. The uniquely flattened skulls were a distinct feature of their culture, setting them apart from other groups. Another possibility is that cranial deformation facilitated long-distance trade. The Hirota people engaged in commerce with cultures from other parts of Japan and as far as Southeast Asia. The distinctive flattened skulls may have signified wealth and status, helping the Hirota establish and maintain trade relationships with other cultures. Regardless of the reasons, this practice reveals that even in ancient times, our ancestors were already altering physical appearances to suit their objectives. Japan's aging problem. Japan holds the record for having the highest proportion of elderly citizens in the world. While many developed countries are grappling with declining birth rates, Japan's situation is particularly urgent. According to the World Bank, Japan has the world's second highest percentage of people aged 65 and over, only behind Monaco. Nearly a third of Japan's population, about 36.23 million people, are over 65, and centenarians are more numerous than ever before. More than 1 in 10 individuals are now aged 80 or older. This aging demographic is further complicated by a persistently low birth rate. One of the most immediate and concerning effects of this population crisis is the worsening labor shortage. In fact, a recent study reveals that Japan could be facing a shortfall of 11 million workers by 2040. This demographic shift is also a ticking time bomb for Japan's social security system, which is grappling with the immense challenge of supporting a growing retired population with a shrinking workforce contributing to the tax base. The aging population is straining the healthcare system as well. To combat this, the government is pushing for a transition from hospital care to home care, advocating for patient-requested care, self-medication, and remote monitoring. They've even introduced care robots to assist the elderly. However, automating care has not turned out to be the all-encompassing solution Japan envisioned. This demographic challenge demands immediate and innovative solutions to secure Japan's future. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has vowed to tackle the crisis by creating a new government agency dedicated to this issue. Let's hope they can devise a strategy that delicately balances the challenges of an aging population and a low birth rate. Masuda rock ship. In the village of Asuka, in Nara Prefecture, lies a mysterious stone structure known as the Masuda rock ship, or locally known as Masuda no Iwafune. This region is renowned for its key-shaped burial mounds from between 250 and 552 AD, but this rock stands out with its unique composition and puzzling origins. As a matter of fact, this monolithic structure is one of the most intriguing historical monuments in Japan and perhaps the entire world. This colossal rock, measuring 36 feet long, 26 feet wide, and 15 feet high, and weighing an astounding 880 tons, is truly a sight to see. Its flattened top and precisely carved square holes catch the eye, while a ridge running parallel to the holes and L-shaped indentations at the base offer clues to the ancient techniques used to shape this massive structure. Historians and archaeologists have noted lattice-shaped impressions at the base of the stone, believed to be related to the methods used by the builders to flatten its sides. Its incredibly hard surface makes its creation even more impressive. It's difficult to scratch even with modern equipment. Hence, how it was done was truly a technical marvel. At first glance, this giant granite block might seem like just another ancient relic in Masuda, a place dotted with burial mounds over 1,000 years old. But unlike those mounds, the rock ship of Masuda does not mark a grave, sparking curiosity and intrigue. Who built it, and for what purpose? To this day, the answers to these questions remain elusive. Some scholars speculate that this colossal structure was meant to mark a grand burial tomb, with the square holes possibly serving as entrances to it, though the work was never finished. However, no tomb or bodies have ever been found. Locals, on the other hand, believe it was used as a Buddhist shrine, although it lacks the typical features of such shrines. Another theory suggests this meticulously carved granite was used for astronomical observation. The ridge aligns with the sunset on a significant farming day that marks the start of the agricultural season, hinting at its potential role in ancient agricultural practices. Another intriguing idea is that it was carved to honor Lake Masuda, which has since vanished due to human development. Whichever theory you find most compelling, it doesn't change the fact that the Masuda rock ship is one for the books. Japan's evaporated people. There's a strange phenomenon happening in Japan. Every year, around 90,000 people are reported missing. While most are eventually found or return home, thousands simply vanish without a trace. These disappearances are so common that there's a Japanese term for it, johatsu, meaning evaporation. Many of these individuals meticulously plan their disappearances, severing all ties with their families to start anew in different parts of the country. But why? Japanese culture significantly influences these disappearances. Unlike those who flee from danger or the law, the johatsu escape from their own shame. In a society that highly values conformity, hard work, success, and fidelity, personal failures like losing a job or experiencing a divorce can be viewed as catastrophic. The societal pressure is so intense that some individuals choose to vanish rather than endure the judgment and disappointment of their peers. One of the key destinations for these individuals is Sanya, a town so notorious for attracting society's outcasts that it has been erased from maps. This widespread need to vanish has even spawned a niche industry. Some companies are specialized in helping people disappear without a trace. Often, families of the vanished do not report their loved ones missing due to their own feelings of shame. Whether or not one comprehends the concept of johatsu, it's clear that for many, running away offers a preferable alternative than taking one's life. It presents a glimmer of hope and a chance to start anew, albeit in the shadows. Japan's Great Wall. The Japanese have their own version of the Great Wall of China. It's a 400-kilometer towering concrete wall that stretches along the coast. It's the country's new tsunami defense system, designed to weaken powerful waves and provide precious time for people to evacuate during the next disaster. This monumental piece of concrete in Japan emerged from one of history's most chilling events. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami on Japan's east coast claimed nearly 20,000 lives. The wall stretches from the northern prefecture of Evated to Fukushima in the south, soaring to heights of 15.5 meters at its tallest points. This colossal project, costing billions of dollars, took years to complete. However, not all residents are pleased with the construction of these towering seawalls. They argue that the walls obstruct their view of the ocean and create a false sense of security. Many believe it's crucial to see a tsunami approaching on the horizon, giving them time to flee to higher ground. Rather than relying solely on concrete and steel, these villagers believe their survival hinges on constant vigilance and their ability to observe the natural signs of impending danger. Nonetheless, the Great Wall of Japan is a stunning feat of engineering, exemplifying humanity's unwavering determination to withstand and overcome even the most devastating disasters. Super toilets. Toilets are a basic part of our daily routines, but in Japan, you can expect comfort rooms to live up to their name and elevate your experience to a whole new level. If you're a tourist in Japan and happen to use one of their restrooms, you'll be surprised to be greeted by a sleek, futuristic device that seems more like something from a sci-fi movie than a bathroom fixture. Once you sit down, the seat adjusts to your body temperature immediately. You can then adjust the water pressure to your liking, choose a gentle bidet or a pulsating spray, and even apply a deodorizer to keep the space smelling fresh. The options don't stop there. You can customize the water temperature and select from various spray patterns, ensuring a perfectly personalized experience every time. And just when you think it couldn't get any better, there's the sound adjustment feature. Whether you prefer a powerful flush or a quieter one, you can choose the sound that suits you best. Indeed, the Japanese people don't settle for less. Imperial Palace Megalith. Tokyo, famous for its modernity, might seem an unlikely place to find ancient megastructures. Yet hidden in plain sight within the Imperial Palace grounds, there's a surprising discovery. The palace, home to the Japanese emperor, is rich in historical significance and cloaked in mystery. The earliest records of the palace date back to 1457 AD, when the formidable warrior Edo Shigetsugu built Edo Castle on this site. Interestingly, some believe that the foundational structures, including its exterior walls, predate the castle. This theory suggests that Edo chose this location because it already had ancient structures, which were then incorporated into the foundations of the newer buildings. The foundations of this structure are made from megalithic blocks, arranged in a polygonal style, similar to those seen in the Mediterranean and South America. This suggests that medieval Japan had the skills to build megalithic structures. However, despite detailed documentation of architecture and construction methods by medieval Japanese, there is no historical record of this specific megalithic style. The megalithic blocks surrounding the castle were assembled without mortar, each as large as a person and precisely squared. Recent excavations have revealed the use of metal clasps, similar to those found in ancient structures in Peru, Bolivia, Egypt, and other regions. These clamps, remnants of which are visible in the carved seats on some of the oldest stonework, were used to anchor the stones securely, ensuring their stability for centuries. This strongly suggests that there was an ancient, intercontinental exchange of building techniques during the construction of the megaliths, likely carried out by a civilization far older than previously thought. Intriguingly, these advanced methods were not used in later constructions, indicating that this architectural knowledge was eventually lost over time. The palace remains shrouded in mystery. Who originally built it? When was it constructed? What purpose did it serve? As of now, these questions remain unanswered, adding to the mysterious allure of this historic site. Mongolia, a nation forever linked with the legacy of Genghis Khan, and for good reason. Though it is now the most sparsely populated nation on Earth, its impact on the course of history is undeniable. Under the leadership of this powerful conqueror, the Mongol Empire of the 13th and 14th centuries became the largest contiguous empire the world has ever known. But this nation doesn't end with the Great Khan. Today, it stands as one of the most intriguing countries in the world, largely due to its sheer enormity. Tucked away in the heart of the Eurasian continent, Mongolia is completely landlocked, encircled by vast stretches of land that separate it from the ocean, making it the largest landlocked country on the planet. It's a bit ironic that a nation sprawling over 1.5 million square kilometers, ranking as the 18th largest country in the world by area, has only 3.4 million people who call it home. This striking contrast between size and population creates a unique sense of solitude and boundless freedom that's hard to find anywhere else on the planet. As a matter of fact, this nation feels like one enormous national park. Just a short drive from the city, you'll find yourself in unspoiled wilderness. The land, safeguarded by the government, grants you the freedom to hike, camp, and explore wherever your heart desires. Mongolia is one of the few places where the nomadic lifestyle continues to flourish. Nearly 30% of the population lives as pastoralists, embodying a tradition that is the lifeblood of the Mongolian economy. For Mongolians, this way of life is more than just a tradition. It's the essence of their identity, a heritage deeply embedded in their very being. Mongolian hospitality is truly unmatched. There's no other place on Earth where you can just show up unannounced and be welcomed with open arms. As you approach a gear, whether on horseback or by vehicle, you stop a little way off, giving the family time to prepare for your arrival. Then, you walk slowly toward the entrance, and upon entering, you take your place on the west side of the Gur. Given that Mongolia once ruled the largest empire in human history, with China among its conquests, it's quite ironic that today its national security hangs in a delicate balance, particularly with China. This precarious situation signifies one of history's most dramatic reversals of fortune. The nation that once conquered China now lives with the fear that China may one day take them over. Yet, beyond its delicate security concerns, Mongolia is a land of mysteries that continue to baffle scientists to this day. Given its immense size, the country has also produced some of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries, with the power to transform our understanding of human history. Let's now dive into these mind-blowing discoveries, shall we? Earliest known phallic art. An international team of researchers has uncovered a fascinating pendant in northern Mongolia, believed to be the oldest known depiction of a carved phallus. This discovery suggests that humans have been artistically representing the male organ for at least 40,000 years. The pendant, found at an archaeological site in the Khangai Mountains of northern Mongolia, is a stone ornament approximately 4.3 centimeters long. Crafted by early humans, it serves as a striking example of ancient symbolic expression and creativity. Three-dimensional phallic pendants aren't common in the Paleolithic record, making this find even more significant. It provides compelling evidence that hunter-gatherer communities were using sexual anatomical features as symbols during the early stages of their spread across the region. What makes this find more interesting is that this pendant dates back to a period that coincides with early interactions between Homo sapiens and Denisovans, encounters that are likely to have occurred in this very area. Through a combination of microscopy and other surface analyses, researchers have revealed that stone tools were likely employed to meticulously carve out the grooves for both the urethra and the glands on the pendant. Curiously, the back of the pendant is smoother than the front, as if a cord had once been tied around it, suggesting it was worn as a necklace. The deep wear on its surface speaks of a treasured possession, likely cherished by many and passed down through the hands of multiple generations. World's first swimming dinosaur. For over 150 million years, the Earth teemed with dinosaurs of every imaginable shape and size. Majestic, long-necked giants, heavily armored living tanks, fearsome predators with razor-sharp teeth, and even vividly colored bird-like creatures thrived in the diverse landscapes of the Mesozoic era. Despite their incredible diversity and dominance, there was one frontier they seemed hesitant to cross: the water. For centuries, paleontologists unearthed countless dinosaur fossils, yet none belonged to a species adapted for swimming or diving, even as other reptiles transitioned from land to water. But this has all changed when paleontologists have finally discovered a swimming dinosaur in Mongolia. The newly named species, Natovanator polydontus, meaning many-toothed swimming hunter, was a tiny marvel of the prehistoric world, measuring just about a foot in length. This small but agile swimmer navigated the ancient waters of what is now Mongolia some 71 million years ago. Though it shared ancestry with fearsome predators like the velociraptor, Natovanator had a distinct appearance that set it apart. With its sleek, streamlined body and long jaws packed with tiny teeth, this little dinosaur was perfectly crafted for life in the water, setting it apart from its sharp-toothed cousins. The long, slender jaws and numerous tiny teeth of Natovanator seemed to be perfectly designed for catching small, slippery, or wriggling prey from the water's depths. Its preserved ribs tell another fascinating story. They are angled backward, much like those of modern penguins and auks. This unique rib arrangement suggests a form of skeletal streamlining, enabling Natovanator to glide effortlessly through the lakes and streams of the Cretaceous period. This level of streamlining is something never before observed in any other dinosaur species. This dinosaur swam using its forelimbs in a way that resembles a rudimentary version of how modern swimming birds, like penguins, glide through the water. The very movements that birds use to soar through the sky prove just as effective beneath the surface, allowing Natovanator to navigate the ancient waters with grace and precision. The discovery of this swimming dinosaur is a powerful reminder that there is still so much more to uncover about the ancient creatures that once ruled our planet millions of years ago. World's most polluted city. When you think of the world's most polluted city, sprawling megacities like New Delhi, Beijing, or Dhaka probably come to mind. But in a surprising twist, it's Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia, that holds this unfortunate title. The situation is so dire that pneumonia has become the second leading cause of death among children under 5 in Mongolia. In its capital city, respiratory infections have surged by an alarming 270% over the past decade. According to UNICEF, children growing up in this city suffer from lung function that is 40% lower than that of their peers in rural areas. The reasons behind this issue run much deeper than mere irresponsibility on the part of the populace. Ulaanbaatar, the coldest capital city in the world, experiences winter temperatures that frequently plunge well below -20 degrees Celsius. In such extreme conditions, many residents, particularly those living in gyurs, the traditional Mongolian yurts often used by migrants from the countryside, resort to burning raw coal to stay warm. Lacking access to the city's central electricity grid, they have little choice. Sadly, this widespread reliance on raw coal is the leading cause of Ulaanbaatar's severe air pollution, enveloping the city in a suffocating shroud of toxic smog. The city's landscape further complicates its challenges. Nestled in a narrow valley between the Bog Mountain and the Tool River, its geography creates a thermal inversion layer that traps toxic air overhead. Rather than dissipating, the pollution remains, enveloping the city in a suffocating haze with no way to escape. However, the government recognized the need to take further action to enhance the city's air quality. As a result, they promoted the use of cleaner coal and imposed a ban on raw coal. Additionally, they developed and implemented an education and outreach program to raise awareness about air pollution. Hopefully, these efforts will yield positive outcomes, allowing future generations to enjoy a cleaner and healthier city. Mysterious Genghis Khan's tomb. Genghis Khan is one of the most powerful leaders in history, yet until today, his final resting place remains a mystery, and this is for a good reason. Before his death in 1227 AD, after conquering a territory twice the size of the Roman Empire, his final wish was to be buried in secrecy. In a powerful display of loyalty to their beloved leader, Genghis Khan's soldiers carried out his final wish with ruthless precision. As they made their way to his gravesite, they left no witnesses, eliminating anyone who crossed their path. Upon reaching the site, they took extraordinary measures to ensure it would never be discovered, trampling the ground under the hooves of their horses until every trace was erased. Their efforts were so thorough that, even in modern times with advanced technology, the location of this grave, believed to hold countless treasures gathered during Khan's vast military campaigns, remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Despite all the efforts put into locating the tomb, it's still without success due to a lot of challenges. Foremost, most of the country's landscape is vast plains and deserts. Finding the tomb is like looking for a needle in a haystack, if not harder. The Mongols' burial customs add to the difficulty. For much of their history, they left their dead where they died, letting animals and the elements take care of the bodies. By the time Genghis Khan was born, the Mongols had adopted tomb-building practices from the Chinese. But many of these tombs were built deep underground, sometimes more than 65 feet down. In the 1980s, an expedition embarked on the ambitious quest to locate Genghis Khan's tomb. Led by D. Majav Erdanabatar, the head of the Department of Archaeology at Ulaanbaatar State University, the team concentrated their efforts on Khenti Province, the birthplace of the Great Khan. Despite the team's optimism, the mission came to an abrupt end in 1990, when the Mongolian Democratic Revolution, which severed the country's ties with Communist Russia, ignited a wave of protests. But these protests weren't just about politics. They were aimed at the expedition itself. Today, many Mongolians prefer that Genghis Khan's tomb remain undiscovered. This sentiment isn't rooted in a fear of unleashing an ancient curse, a superstition that was prevalent during Soviet times, but rather out of deep respect for Genghis Khan's final wish to rest in secret. Many archaeologists and historians now suspect that Genghis Khan's tomb may be concealed on Burkhan Khaldun, a revered peak in the Khenti Mountains north of Ulaanbaatar. According to some accounts, this is where a young Genghis Khan once hid from his enemies and vowed to return after his death. However, any exploration of this site is strictly off-limits, as the Mongolian government has designated the area a protected wildlife conservation zone. In 2015, we came the closest yet to uncovering Genghis Khan's tomb when French archaeologist Pierre-Henri Giscard and imaging expert Raphael Hautefort used drones to survey the summit of Burkhan Khaldun. They reportedly found a man-made tumulus, a possible sign of something extraordinary hidden beneath. However, the secrets it may hold remain sealed, with no way to explore what, if anything, lies within. Mysterious Mongolian Ark. In the vast expanses of eastern Mongolia lies a mysterious 405-kilometer wall system known as the Mongolian Ark, named for its distinct shape. This wall is one of the most puzzling long wall and trench systems in the history of China and Mongolia. Despite its immense size and complex structure, its origins remain unclear. No one knows exactly when it was constructed, who built it, or what its true purpose was. Unlike the famous Great Wall of China, the Mongolian Ark has received little scholarly attention, leaving many questions unanswered. This ancient wall traces a path nearly parallel to the China-Mongolia border, stretching from Sukbatar province to Dornod province in northeastern Mongolia, where winter temperatures can plunge to a biting -25 degrees Celsius. Earlier studies have revealed that the wall consists of 34 structures, built from earthen walls and trenches. However, the exact time of its construction is still unclear, with historical records suggesting it could have been erected between the 11th and 13th centuries. The research team has uncovered some intriguing surprises along the way. The most striking discovery is that the wall has large gaps, indicating it was likely not intended to keep out all invaders. Instead, it appears to have been hastily constructed in response to specific threats. Some evidence suggests that the wall may have been designed to control the movement of people or animals, or perhaps even as part of a taxation system. These theories emerged as researchers realized that the wall, with its outposts in locations offering limited views of the surrounding landscape, wouldn't have functioned well as a defensive barrier. Researchers are also investigating whether the entire network of walls was constructed all at once or, as some theorize, if it's the result of multiple projects spanning across different periods of time, gradually added layer by layer over the centuries. As of now, only time will tell if these mysteries about the wall will finally be answered. The Philippines, a breathtaking archipelago known for its crystal-clear beaches, stunning natural wonders, and above all its warm and joyful people, where karaoke, beauty pageants, and basketball are more than just pastimes, they're passions. Yet, in recent times, this island paradise has found itself in the global spotlight for another reason: the growing geopolitical strain with its powerful neighbor, China. Beneath the surface of its beaches and beyond the political headlines, the Philippines holds a deeper story, one of resilience, innovation, and profound contributions to the world. This island nation, often seen as a tropical getaway or a hotspot for geopolitical tensions, has quietly been the birthplace of groundbreaking discoveries that have shaped human history in ways many don't realize. We've already covered some of these in our first two videos, and if you haven't seen them yet, be sure to check the links above or in our description. Now, in this third installment, we're going to take you even deeper into the heart of these incredible discoveries. Secrets that have remained hidden for thousands of years and might just reshape everything we know about human history. Mysterious Samal giants. For generations, stories of ancient giants have echoed through countless cultures, and the Philippines is no different. Amid the island's age-old legends, one account stands out above all others: the story of the Dinagats, a mythical race of giants believed to have roamed the small tadpole-shaped island of Samal more than 200 years ago across the waters of the Davao Gulf. It's easy to dismiss this as just another ancient myth, but the theory gained credibility in September 1967 when a team of student anthropologists from the University of Mindanao, led by Dr. Jose A. Sampson, made a startling discovery at the rocky Punta Libod caves. There, they unearthed centuries-old coffins filled with artifacts and human remains in various stages of preservation. Among the findings were the weathered bones of Samal natives who had passed away over 120 years ago. Dr. Sampson speculated that the Samals may have reclaimed these burial caves after the mysterious race of Dinagats had disappeared. What made this discovery truly remarkable were the unusually large jawbone and skull fragments. The frontal bone elevation measured an impressive 9.6 centimeters from the bridge of the nose to the skull's curvature, significantly larger than the typical 7 to 8 centimeters found in the average Filipino skull. Also, measuring the skull's frontal bone, researchers described the individual as having an abnormally long and distinctly flat forehead, a feature that set it apart from typical skulls. Using a renowned height estimation formula, the results seemed to breathe new life into the island's age-old folklore, suggesting that a race of towering, mysterious people, unlike the Samals, once walked the land. Yet, with such a groundbreaking discovery, one might question why so little information exists. Could it be that authorities are deliberately keeping this hidden? After all, the existence of these ancient giants would challenge everything we've been taught, reshaping our understanding of history. Superhuman tribe. In the southern Philippines, a fascinating tribe has evolved to thrive beneath the sea, the Badiao. Through generations of natural selection, their bodies have adapted with enlarged spleens, giving them an almost superhuman ability to dive to incredible depths and stay underwater for extended periods. It's an example of one of the extraordinary genetic adaptations humans have undergone in recent evolutionary history. Can you imagine holding your breath underwater for 5 minutes? The Bajau, known as sea nomads, can do it for an astounding 13 minutes, diving to depths of up to 70 meters. Their entire existence revolves around the ocean, undeterred by harsh conditions and unpredictable weather. These remarkable people have achieved the extraordinary, forging a life amid the relentless, turbulent seas, far removed from the stability and comforts of land. They're expert marine hunter-gatherers who rely on harvesting shellfish from the ocean's depths. What's even more astonishing is that these individuals can spend up to 60% of their working day underwater, exploring the depths as part of their everyday life. Much like the Sherpas of the Himalayan mountains, the Badiao possess a remarkable genetic advantage that allows them to use oxygen more efficiently. But unlike the high-altitude Sherpas, the Bajau face a more immediate form of oxygen deprivation beneath the waves, and in response, they've evolved a faster adaptation. Over generations, natural selection has favored those with larger spleens, which act as reservoirs of oxygenated red blood cells. When the Badiao dive, their spleens contract, releasing this reserve into the bloodstream, enabling them to stay underwater for extended periods. Another fascinating genetic variation found commonly in their population lies within a gene responsible for regulating a hormone known as T4, produced by the thyroid gland. This hormone plays a crucial role in boosting the body's metabolic rate, the energy the body can produce over a specific period. This surge in energy is thought to help the Bajau endure low oxygen levels during their deep-sea dives. Even more intriguing, this genetic trait is also associated with an enlarged spleen. Overall, the importance of this discovery reaches far beyond its evolutionary implications. It offers valuable insights with practical medical applications, particularly in understanding hypoxia, the body's adaptations to low oxygen levels. Bajau's unique ability could shed light on potential treatments and solutions for oxygen deprivation in various medical conditions. World's oldest tattoo artist. If you picture a centenarian spending their days confined to a bed, you'd be surprised to learn that a 107-year-old woman from the Philippines is living quite the opposite life. At her remarkable age, she continues to practice an ancient art known as batok. Her name is Apo Wang Od, and she holds the title of the world's oldest tattoo artist. From the time she was a teenager, Apo Wang Od dedicated herself to mastering this ancient tattooing technique passed down through generations of her indigenous tribe. Her journey as a tattoo artist began at the age of 16, when she learned the sacred craft under the careful guidance of her father. There were many reasons why the natives chose to adorn their bodies with ink. For men, receiving a tattoo marked the moment they were honored as a headhunting warrior. Elaborate chest tattoos, with intricate patterns extending across the shoulders and down the arms, often took days to complete and were paid for with a large pig or several kilos of rice. For women, tattoos had a different significance, symbolizing fertility and enhancing beauty. The elder tattooed women of Kalinga often say that when they journey into the afterlife, they can't take their beads or gold with them. Only the sacred markings on their skin will follow them beyond this world. Today, Wang Od's fame has spread across the globe, attracting both foreigners and tourists who undertake the long and challenging journey to her remote village in Buskalan, Kalinga, nestled in northern Luzon. After the arduous trek, visitors are met with long queues, all waiting for the chance to be inked by the legendary artist. Wang Od prepares her traditional tattoo ink with a simple yet powerful blend of charcoal and water. She applies the ink using a thorn from a citrus tree. With this handmade tool, she rhythmically taps the thorn into the skin, driving the ink deep into the flesh. Due to her advanced age, she now limits her designs to a simple yet symbolic pattern of 3 dots. Apo Wang Od is truly a national treasure. Her life story serves as a profound reminder of art's power to transcend borders, unite cultures, and ignite curiosity across the world. World's largest caldera. The Philippines is home to the world's largest caldera, a colossal volcanic depression formed when a volcano's magma chamber empties and collapses after an eruption or magma withdrawal. The recent discovery of a mega underwater volcano in the Benham Rise has captured the imagination of scientists, drawing comparisons to the volcanic landscapes seen on distant planets like Venus and Mars. Luckily, this volcano has been inactive for millions of years. The discovery of this enormous caldera stirs fascinating questions about the volcanic activity that shaped this region between 48 and 41 million years ago. Researchers are now delving into what unique conditions might have been at play to give rise to such a massive geological formation. Researchers have named this underwater marvel Apalaki, a name that fittingly translates to giant lord in the local language, perfectly capturing the immense scale and grandeur of the caldera. It spans approximately 150 kilometers in diameter, making it twice the size of the renowned Yellowstone caldera in Wyoming, USA. With over 80% of the world's ocean floor still uncharted, this study makes a crucial contribution to the global effort to enhance bathymetric mapping. It not only enriches our understanding of underwater landscapes, but also sets the stage for future groundbreaking discoveries. Climate change-resistant rice. For thousands of years, humans have cultivated rice, refining their farming techniques through the ages. However, the worsening impacts of climate change have brought new challenges to rice production, as unpredictable weather patterns disrupt traditional methods. In response, scientists in the Philippines may have made a groundbreaking discovery: resilient rice varieties capable of meeting these challenges head-on. They've developed a drought-resistant strain of rice that is flourishing not only in the Philippines but also in India and Nepal. This innovative variety is engineered to withstand a wide array of environmental challenges: extreme temperatures during both day and night, extended droughts, floods, and even rising sea levels that flood coastal fields with saltwater. Increased soil salinity is just one of many hurdles rice farmers must now contend with, and this new strain offers a promising solution. These new rice varieties are particularly crucial for the Philippines, the second largest rice importer in the world, where crops are frequently devastated by extreme weather. Climate change is making matters worse, leading to even greater crop damage and reduced yields. As environmental conditions become increasingly unpredictable, the stability of rice production grows more uncertain. These newly developed strains, Designed to use water and nutrients more efficiently and withstand climate-related pressures, offer a vital solution to the growing crisis. This effort is the Philippines' contribution to ensuring a stable global food supply, but the impact goes beyond feeding the world. These climate-resilient rice strains also offer hope to farmers, promising more reliable harvests even as they face the mounting difficulties brought on by climate change. World's largest crocodile. Saltwater crocodiles have always inspired fear at first sight, but imagine the awe and terror of coming face to face with the largest one ever held in captivity. That distinction belonged to Lo Long, a gigantic crocodile stretching 6.17 meters. Before Lo Long, the record had been held by a 5.48-meter crocodile caught in Australia, which was a full 2 feet shorter than this giant captured in the Philippines. Lo Long was infamous even before his capture. He was suspected of devouring a missing fisherman and was believed to be responsible for the death of a 12-year-old girl, whose head was found in 2009. Once captured, he became the star attraction at a local ecotourism park, drawing visitors from far and wide to witness the sheer size and power of the legendary reptile. As time went on, Lo Long's health started to decline, and a local veterinarian speculated that the unusually cold weather may have contributed to his worsening condition. After his passing, Lo Long's remains were carefully preserved and now reside at the National Museum of Natural History in Manila. This gigantic creature continues to remind us how nature could both be terrifying and fascinating at the same time. If you're interested to know more about the rich history of other countries, be sure to watch our next video. Hope you like our story. Catch you in the next one.